Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Fantasy football expert Eric Balkman joining us now. We got questions already flying in here for you, bud. Are you ready to jump right into it? All right, let's go. We've got John with his first question. I stream defenses every week, and it seems to work out for me week in and week out. My question is, who is a good defense to stream this week? And that's considering that all the top defenses are gone.
Well, John, I'll tell you what. I do the exact same thing, and it always has seemed to work out for me as well. The waivers I put in last night in the majority of my leagues, the two that always seem to be out there that I like this week is Detroit, who's at home against Cleveland, and then New England, who's at home against Carolina. Those are my two favorites. I think you can get away with Arizona tonight. Perhaps Tennessee at Houston is not the worst one in the world either. And then Washington and Atlanta, I think, is sneaky, given the Falcons' offense just coming off a really bad clunker against Carolina. But my two favorites are the Lions and the Patriots.
We got our friend Jake from State Farm with a couple questions for you, too. First off, he's asking, what should I do with Isaiah Pacheco at this point?
Yeah, you got to bench him. I mean, not only is that backfield in disarray, but it's kind of the Chiefs' rushing game and offense is in disarray. You may not have the opportunity to bench him based on when you draft him. If you drafted him as your number 2 running back, you may have to play him. But there are some guys that I would rather play over him this week. Guys like Krosky Merritt, Quinshon Judkins, Cam Scadaboo, obviously, Jalen Warren, Trey Benson. These guys are probably already owned in your league, but you might have drafted them after Pacheco, and I think it would make a lot of sense to play all those guys over Pacheco. J.K. Dobbins as well.
I also asked Cooper Kupp or Xavier Worthy. Both are probably going to hurt my feelings sometime this week.
Kupp actually plays tonight, and Worthy does not play until the late game, the 3:25 window on Sunday. So and we don't know officially if he's going to play. It sounds like he's going to play. But rather than take the 0, I think I would play Kupp tonight rather than risk taking a 0 with Worthy, assuming you have no other options between those guys. If they were playing at the same time in the same window and I didn't have to make this decision, Kupp is a guy I'd probably try to bench. If I knew Worthy was active, I would definitely play him over Kupp. But we just don't know, and I think that's why you have to play Kupp tonight.
He also asks, I have Michael Pittman on the free agent list. Do I add him and drop Matthew Golden?
No, I would not this week. The Packers' schedule really softens up, especially with Dallas this week as well. It stinks that you can't add Pittman because I'd love to have both of these guys on, but I think Golden's value is going to go up quite a bit, starting with this Dallas game on Sunday night. Dallas not only is a bad defense, but one of the things they do worst is defend the deep ball, and that's what Matthew Golden does best. So you want to keep him on your roster. If you want to flip him after that for something and then pick up Pittman, I get it. But I think Golden's next month is going to be really, really good.
Ben with a quick text. Hey, Eric, appreciate you hopping on and answering our questions. I've got a running back question. Do I go with Hubbard or Montgomery this week?
That's tough. Obviously, Chuba Hubbard is going to be in New England this week, which is again, I just said I like the Patriots defense, so that's not the easiest of matchups. Montgomery is running against that Cleveland Browns front seven, which I think did a number on the Packers this week. And quite frankly, coming into the game, they were the number 1 rush defense in the NFL, and they're still number 1, obviously, after what the Packers failed to do against them in Week 3. So I think it might be tough sledding for Montgomery. Hubbard is still getting out there on some third downs. So yeah, I think I would bench Montgomery in favor of Hubbard this week.
Tim with a question says, hey, Eric, is this going to be the week finally for Ashton Genty to help out my fantasy team?
I have him on a few teams as well, and it's been rough. The thing is, it's not really just the Genty problem. I mean, this guy is getting hammered in the backfield before he even gets back to the line of scrimmage. So a lot of this is on the offensive line as well. It's also been super frustrating to see him being taken off the field, pass protection situations, third down situations, 2-minute situations. I get the fact that he needs a breather every now and then, but when you drafted a guy as high as you did, not only in fantasy but what the Raiders did, you'd like to see him be out there on 80, 85, 90% of the offensive snaps, and that's just not happening. I think he's a fine start this week. I did bench him in a couple of my leagues last week where I had some good running back depth, but at home against the Bears this week, I like the matchup, and hopefully this is the week that Genty gets on track.
Nick would like to know, should he start Jake Ferguson going up against the Packers over Kyle Pitts going up against the Commanders?
Ferguson has been the number one tight end in PPR fantasy football so far, which has been a huge surprise. Maybe as equally as big of a surprise is that Kyle Pitts is relevant again. If you have these two guys, I still think you play Ferguson. No CeeDee Lamb, or we expect there to be no CeeDee Lamb on Sunday night. And obviously Prescott is going to have to throw the ball somewhere other than George Pickens. I think it's Ferguson. I think he gets more volume, and I think that's why you have to take him here. I don't know what's going on with the Falcons offense right now, but I definitely trust Dallas. As even in a poor matchup, I trust Ferguson much more against the Packers than I do with Pitts at home against the Commanders.
Quarterback question here. Asking, this is from Matt. Matt says, should I go with Justin Fields this week or Dak Prescott going up against the Packers?
It seems like Fields is going to play. I haven't looked at the injury reports, but the concussion thing, I kept him out last week. It was borderline whether he was going to play or not. They ruled him out early, which always makes me nervous for the following week, but I don't see him listed on the injury report right now. Neither one of these is a great matchup. I think that the thing is you take Fields because you could see him having a Week 1-esque game like he had against Pittsburgh, even on the road against Miami. Prescott is going to be one of these quarterbacks that, probably has like 80 yards passing at halftime and ends with like 260 if the game goes the way I think it's going to go against Green Bay. But Fields obviously is the runner out of the two, and I usually check and go with the runner on this, so I'm going to say Fields over Prescott.
Another Matt has a tight end question. Eric, should I be concerned about starting Tucker Kraft this weekend because of his injuries that he has right now?
Relatively speaking, yes, you should. The problem is Kraft has been one of the best tight ends in fantasy football this year, so it's difficult for me to say to start anybody else over him. Like, I'm trying to think who the other options would be, like Ferguson, Tyler Warren, Hunter Henry, Kincaid. I mean, I'd start Kraft over all those guys, even with the knee injury. He played through it last week. Yeah, he's clearly not in a great spot, but that Dallas defense is so bad that I think he could easily churn out a 6 for 80 and a touchdown type game on Sunday night. So, yeah, you're mildly concerned, but I'm not concerned enough to bench him at this point.
Another question, I don't have a name on here, but they're wondering for a wide receiver, how concerned should I be continuing to start T. Higgins knowing the quarterback situation with Cincinnati?
Higgins was pretty good in 2023 when Jake Browning had to step in for Joe Burrow's injury. The issue with that, if we bring it into context, is his best games were when Jamar Chase was hurt then, too, when he was the number one receiver. It is concerning, and I'm definitely concerned. Now, listen, what we saw last week against the Vikings, that was a horrible spot for Browning to step in and have his first start of the year. I didn't think it would be that bad, but I didn't think it was going to be good. And I think things will get better for Browning. I do think you have to look elsewhere this week. Certainly Higgins, I think, is a fine, like in a 12-team league, if you're looking for a third receiver, I think he makes sense there. But other guys that you might have drafted after him that I think would make better starts this week, we mentioned Michael Pittman. He's one. Quentin Johnston is one. Deebo Samuel, Ricky Pearsall, Jacoby Myers. I mean, all those guys, I think, should. Emeka Egbuka, obviously. I think all those guys should be playing over T. Higgins in Week 4.
I've got another wide receiver question. This one's from Greg. Matthew Golden or Travis Hunter?
Oh, yeah. Hunter has been so underwhelming so far, and I don't know if it's misuse by the Jaguars, but he's rarely getting anything downfield, and it's so frustrating because we know he has the athletic prowess to do that. Weeks 1 and 2, it's like everything he caught was at the line of scrimmage. He finally got something downfield Week 3, but it wasn't enough. And like I said, I think this is the Matthew Golden coming out game. Hunter in San Francisco is not going to be as good as Matthew Golden in Dallas this weekend.
Jake from State Farm again chiming in, asking, will Godwin be anything close to what he was last year with the Bucs? My IR spots are starting to come back to some other guys that are going to get the axe. Miller from the Saints, Jordan Love. At this point on Sundays, I just wake up and play Hurt by Johnny Cash on repeat.
And it's only Week 4,
yeah.
Which is a frustrating thing. There's so many more injuries to go. Will he be close to what he was? I think so, but I definitely leave myself the ability to be wrong on that. The only thing we have seen positive about this Chris Godwin situation since he wrecked his ankle last year on Thursday Night Football, which, by the way, also came minutes after Pete Alonso hit that bomb against the Steelers in the playoffs. And I had Godwin everywhere. It was one of the worst nights of sports in recent history for me. Godwin is a guy that I think is going to be okay, but the only positive piece we've seen has been that contract that he got, and then the purported offer of a contract from New England. They drafted Egbuka in the first round. There's been setbacks. There's a second surgery. So it's really difficult to say whether he's going to be close. I think he will be close. I don't think he'll ever be the player that he once was. But there's certainly a possibility that he's not. And then when Evans comes back in a few weeks, it's the Evans and Egbuka show, and Godwin's just sort of an also-ran. So I have, until I see it, I have a lot of questions, very skeptical with Godwin.
Last one here for you, Eric. It's another running back question, and this comes from Anthony. Should I go with R.J. Harvey from the Broncos or Bill from Washington?
You know, the Harvey thing got a little bit cleaner last week when Sean Payton elected to play Tyler Bidet on only 2 or 3 offensive snaps. I can't remember what it was, but he played on 17 offensive snaps, which is really good because that means more for Harvey. Krosky Merritt is officially questionable right now. That Commanders game against Atlanta is a noon kickoff, so you'll know whether he's going to be up or not. And then you look at R.J. Harvey against the Bengals. That is a really, really good matchup. This is so tough for me. I think if Krosky Merritt's active, I lean to starting him. But I certainly – ask me again tomorrow, and I might say Harvey. It's that close. I say JCM right now. But I think if you want to put Harvey in there, that's fine too.
Eric, before I let you go, give me a prediction for Packers-Cowboys on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's a get-right game. I think that the Dallas defense is in absolute shambles at the end of this game. Packers probably put up 30-plus points. Let's just say we'll go 31-18 Green Bay.
I like it. He's Eric Balkman, Fantasy Football Players Championship, High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour, RotoViz, Better Network. Also catch his show over at The Score in Appleton. Dude, appreciate the time as always. Enjoy the game starting tonight, and we'll catch up with you soon, bud.
You got it, Dan. Have a great weekend.
You got it. There you go. Eric Balkman. Good stuff as always. Big thanks for Eric joining us.